Hi guys, welcome back to Milking It. I'm your host, Sofiamiia, and today I am interviewing a very dear friend of mine. She has started out as my esthetician and my energy worker, and is now, we are really close friends. And her name is Paige, and welcome to the podcast.
Oh, I am so honored to be on this. I have watched you grow it, and it's just been such a beautiful journey, so I'm really happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. So Paige is visiting me here in Mexico City. She's been here for about a week. How are you liking it so far?
I love it. I think, you've done a beautiful job of showing us around, and it's just, the city is beautiful. It's magic, and you really fit right in here.
Oh, thank you.
It's really nice to have you show us around.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've loved having you guys here. You guys are like so sweet. She's here with her boyfriend with her boyfriend Chris. And Paige has changed my life in many, many ways. As you guys know, I started this podcast because I was kind of going through separation and everything. And I can honestly say I don't think I would be as far as I am without your help. So before we get into like the special work that you do, I think it's probably important to kind of get to know like where you grew up, what your childhood was like. Did you grow up in Long Beach? Because that is essentially where we met.
I didn't. I actually grew up in East Los Angeles and in Whittier, so it was a very like residential, quiet, and I think where we grew up is very similar. So we had very similar upbringings. It was a really nice, family-oriented, tree-lined streets. It was a very lovely childhood.
Okay, and are your parents still together?
They are. They have been married for over 30 years. They are madly in love, and I've witnessed their trials and tribulations, but seeing at the end, they always come together, and the family unit is so important to them. So I think it's really helped me as a mom as well.
Nice. And it's you and a younger brother, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
right?
I have a younger brother. He is about 3 years younger than me, so 32.
Okay. Now you work with a lot of women, and you're an esthetician. Did your mom do something like that? Has anybody in your family done any type of work like that?
You know what? No. My mother, everyone in my family is extremely creative in different ways. My mom was very fashionable growing up, and I never had that same passion for like clothes. I mean, as an adult growing up, now I do. But there's a lot of like art and drawing and just things like that. So I think the creative part and and obviously I love women, and I love, making people feel good. So that just kind of fell right into it.
Okay. And did you ever notice like that when you were younger, that you do like to make people feel good?
All the time. That was like my favorite thing to do growing up. And also just like, very similarly to what I do now with like mixing all of the beautiful masks and potions. I remember specifically loving getting like grass and flowers and making like potions and things. And so it makes very much sense that I work primarily with plants, because that was a huge part of my childhood.
Okay. That's funny. I remember making potions too, but it would be like lotion and then like olive oil and then like mustard. And it was like, I'd be like, drink it. So that sounds a lot more whimsical.
Yes, it was super whimsical. It was like sitting in the tree, under the big tree, and it was really nice.
Yeah. I'm just curious, what's your favorite like holiday?
I love birthdays, other people's birthdays. I
so
love
sweet.
that. I really love someone's birthday, because I feel like holidays, we celebrate everyone, but like it's that one day where someone can feel so special and you just like pour all your love into them. So birthdays.
High school, did you go straight into esthetician school? Did you go to college? Like, what did you do after that?
So I went to college right afterwards. I, again, have always been like a helper and a doer. So I initially started for nursing, and it was just a lot, and it seemed like it was in a broken system. So I found my way into business communications, which was very beneficial, I think, because I got all the business aspect out of the way. And then I had this wonderful corporate job that was going so well, and I still felt so unfulfilled and just unhappy. And so I decided to change my entire life. I think I was 30 years old, and go back to school for something that there was like no guarantee. So it was pretty terrifying.
Okay. And how long were you doing the corporate job for?
So I spent a lot of time pre-COVID restructuring med spas and the way that they ran their front desk, the way they their patient care was, and like the flow. And then I did a lot of consulting for other like big aesthetic companies. So I've done a lot of consulting for big med spa brands and learning a lot about like facial anatomy and how I think that was also very beneficial. Then COVID happened, and so everything kind of shut down, and the med spa business was not really what it was. So I got into mental health, and it was extremely beneficial, I think, because I was in trauma prevention, and so it gave me a lot of like trauma information and verbiage to use when speaking to people and things like that. So that was my big corporate job before I quit, and it burned me out.
Of course it did.
A lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So that's how you became interested in esthetician school, was because you were working so closely with it on the business side.
And it's like both ends of the spectrum. I was working very much in like the beauty industry, but it's more so the industry that was like, this is what's wrong with you. Here's your flaw and how we can fix it, right? And then I also then went into mental health, and it was like, you see what's going on in the world and how people just want to be seen and heard. Yeah. And so being able to marry those two aspects was, I mean, I'm so lucky to have done that.
Yeah. Did you have like an aha moment when you were like, okay, I think I want to be an esthetician, and like connected it to the trauma? Or did you start esthetician school and like, did it all just start making sense? Like, I'm just kind of curious. Or did you go in like head first being like, I know this is all connected?
So I wanted to do things differently than what I was used to. I was trained in a way where it's a money grab, right? It's like, I can look at someone and say, you know, you can put a filler here and that will lift this and things like that. And I can see also how that kind of breaks people. And then that becomes their thing that they're so focused and stuck on. And so a big part of me going into aesthetic school was to relieve some of that pressure and just like make people feel good just for looking however they look, or you know, feeling however they feel. And so I think it's just in my personality to have done that. I don't think it was like an aha moment. I think it really just came very naturally. And then with past trauma of my own and getting into Reiki, seeing that I could marry these two, and I've not really seen done very much, felt really special and like new.
Yeah. I am like not shy to like fillers, surgery. Yeah. So when I moved to Long Beach, I don't really like facials when they do like the extractions and stuff. My mom has always scared me. She said that they did an extraction on her nose at one point, and like the blood vessel, they popped it or something, and it never went away. So I've been like very shy. I know lasers and stuff are supposed to be good for your face, but the reason I found you is because I was looking like for something more holistic. So knowing that it came to you so naturally, I'm not surprised now that you tell me that. But the type of facial that she does is magical. And before we get into that, I am curious, because I actually have some friends that are wanting to get into esthetician school now. How long does that take? Is it expensive? Is it actually in class, or do you become like a mentee?
So in the United States, it is actually really fast. It's about 6 months, and it's a super easy process. It's a lot more inexpensive than I think other trades, which is also really great for like new moms or young people and just anyone really. I find that a lot of schools, 'cause initially I went to cosmetology school as well. I have my cosmetology license from Paul Mitchell. When I got that, it was very much teaching me how to pass state board and not so much like technique or anything really special. And I found the same thing when I went to aesthetic school. They teach you how to pass a test. They give you all the tools to pass the test, but you get all of your experience when you're actually hands-on. And so a big part of my business early on and while I was in school was offering like $50 facials and just getting in as much experience as I could, as much hands-on and like my touching faces as I could.
Yeah. And did you know anybody that was doing what you were doing, less fillers and stuff like that, but was actually working with like the jaw?
So I found a Russian, I don't even know if he's an esthetician or maybe massage therapist, just through Instagram, and he had this technique of working with the muscles and with the fascia and with the lymphatic system. And it was just so wild to me that you could manipulate certain things, and but also very much made sense. Like, we all get massages on our bodies all the time to
Yeah.
feel good, but what about the face? Those muscles we use every single day.
Yeah.
And so that really was like a big, it unlocked something in me that I was like, oh, if you can do that.
Yeah.
And so I got deeper and deeper, and I saw that it was a very big European thing. It's very big in Japan, that they work
Okay.
more so, less with topicals and more so with what's going on underneath the tissue.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that it was just really incredible and amazing. So I follow a lot of estheticians on Instagram that do a lot of like acne recovery and things like that. But I hadn't seen very many people that were starting to work with those things. So it was really
Okay.
like, okay, what's this? And it was magic. It turned into magic. So
Yeah. That is also the reason why I think I found you, because over the last couple years I got really big into like lymphatic drainage, and I was researching and also just hearing on other podcasts and on Instagram, like, you want to lift your face up. And I remember I went into your studio. First of all, it was so like cute. You had incense going. Like, even did you get all your stuff at like a vintage shop or something? Like,
all over the place, really.
yeah, because it was so cute. The energy was amazing. And I booked something called the Lovers Facial, which includes the buccal massage. And for people that don't know what that facial is, can you kind of like explain it? I feel like you kind of briefly touched on it, but just to make sure it's clear.
Yeah, so I, in the beginning, named a lot of my facials after tarot cards. So there was like the Wise Woman, which was an anti-aging, and all of these different names. But the one that really stuck was the Lovers, which is also my favorite tarot card. And so I wanted that to be just all encompassing of what that card meant to me, right? Just pouring into my person, whoever I was seeing at the moment. And so what it entails is deep sculptural work. So first we start with lymphatic drainage. We open up the lymphatic system, allow things to start pumping and flowing, and then afterwards I go into really massaging the face.
Yes.
What I love is that when you are massaging the face in this slow, rhythmic fashion, what happens is the person just, their breath drops into their diaphragm. You notice them just go into this deep, like meditative state. And once they're there, you can get into their jaw. And so buccal work is really interesting and fascinating because we all hold so much tension right here.
Yeah.
We're constantly like this all day long, and we're holding back all these words we want to say. The jaw also in like Eastern medicine is connected to the womb space. So as women, which I primarily work with, we hold so much trauma. We hold so much in the womb and the hips. And so the fact that the two were linked, I thought was very fascinating. And also a ton of people suffer from TMJ, which is horrible to live with. It's debilitating at times. You get tension headaches, shoulders, everything. So this massage will also go into the shoulders and releasing that tension, because everything is kind of connected through here. So once all of that lets go, all of this then can lift up. And then going back to the buccal massage, getting in there and just relaxing those muscles, allowing them to just release. And then through that, you get really beautiful emotional releases.
Yes.
And at the end, we do Reiki, which is Japanese energy work that really just balances you out. It brings your vibration and your frequency just to a very leveled, fully you kind of frequency. And so it's just all encompassing of it includes everything basically.
Yes. And I'm super glad I found this, because I was, as you guys know, I've shared this on my Instagram and my other podcasts, is I was dealing with insane hip pain and an anterior pelvic tilt. And it was because in my past relationship that was very traumatic, I was like clenching my pelvis. I didn't even realize that the same type of stuff was happening in my face. So, which is why after the first session, second session, third session, I feel like the same way when you go to yoga, right? And you're opening up your hips and you can have an emotional release, the same things happens. And when she's doing the buccal massage, it's like she puts gloves on and her hands go like in your mouth. And if you go to her page, you'll be able to see her doing it, but it's literally like pulling your muscles and releasing it. And I just remember you call it the portal for a reason. I'm curious to know, I know when I first came and saw you, it was like one of the lowest points of my life. what was your first impression of me?
I've been waiting for this question because when I first met you, I opened my studio in December of 2025 in Long Beach. I had just moved to Long Beach, and you were like one of my first clients, and I don't think you know that.
Really?
Yeah, in that studio. And so it was really nerve-wracking because I was renting spaces in other places and I was seeing people here and there, but I then started learning TikTok, and so it kind of things blew up really quickly.
Yeah, I think that's how I found you, because I was like, I need massage on my face, not a facial.
And so at that time, because I was so not busy, I was really able to like be particular with my clients, and my questionnaire was so specific, and you were so specific in your answers, and I would really love to email you that one day because it's beautiful to see like where you came from.
Yeah. I think I honestly was like, I'm going through divorce. It was freaking traumatic. I'm sure it was something like that.
It was
I was just a mess.
It was intense, and so I was like, I don't know. It was really strange for me because I instantly felt connected to you, and then I saw your last name and I was like, that's really interesting. I wonder where she's from. And so I looked you up on Instagram and I saw you and I was so intimidated. I was like,
God.
this girl is an influencer. She's beautiful. Like, I need to nail this. And I actually told my partner, and Chris knows I'm going to cry.
Oh
like,
my God, this
Chris,
is
I know.
yeah.
Yeah. So Chris knows this, but I was like so excited to see you that as it came down to like the day of seeing you, I was like, I'm going to see that girl Sophia today. And then meeting you, feeling this like almost soul connection instantly. Like we had an amazing consultation beforehand, and the nerves kind of went away instantly because it just felt very comfortable with you. And also I could just see how much you really needed to be held. And so it made me feel very maternal towards you and just wanting to like love on you. And then when I go into Reiki, sometimes it's almost like you can see this person's soul, like their whole life will play out in front of you. It gets really deep. And so after that, I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to be she's my client for the rest of my life. She's my friend now. Like I need her every month. I need to see her and like be in her energy.
Yeah.
And then I followed you so closely on Instagram, and I just watched you grow and change. And I devote none of this to myself or my work. I have watched you put in the work.
Oh my gosh.
And I think you just needed to be seen. And I just feel very honored and grateful to be the one to.
God. I really appreciate that, because I feel like I was so focused on what happened to me that I like knew, I thought that was the problem. And when you did Reiki on me, you were like, I think you have this type of wound. Like I can kind of see this. And it really, I think I might have been able to get there eventually in my life, but I don't think I would have gotten there as quickly as I did. That's why I do give you a lot of the credit, because you were just moving emotions and also just seeing things through Reiki that I was like, okay, like what happened to me sucked, but like maybe there's other things that were hurting me before I even got into this like why I picked this person even in the first place. And this just makes me happy, because I appreciate you saying that I'm like an influencer, because I'm definitely trying, and my videos have gotten a lot better. But I remember I made videos on this because I was like, this is just like the most amazing thing. And that was my first Reiki experience. And the tarot cards, now I pull tarot cards all the time, or oracle cards too, because it really like moved me. And I think, well, first of all, immediately after the session, you can see your face like lifted. And also when you mentioned like just like the vibrations, I just felt like I was finally like, for literally our hour-and-a-half session, like I was at baseline, which now I know how to get there on my own. Like it's difficult to maintain, but I was like, oh, this is how it should feel. So do you feel like you operate at that baseline pretty often?
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
I think we are in a crazy time right now. I think it's needed. It's very needed.
Yeah.
But I think that nobody can stay in this baseline. So the more people that I can empower to be able to reach it on their own and give them those tools, the better.
Yeah.
Because having them saved my own life.
Yeah.
And no, I'm never operating. It's like I have to be the same as everyone else. I'm like, breathe, you're clenching, you know?
Yeah.
And I think also the humanity of it. It's like I am seen from, like, my clients will look to me for these things that I'm like, I only know what to tell you guys because I am also going through that or have been through it, you know what I mean? So no, I'm never operating. I'm always at fight or flight, and then I catch myself and I'm like, oh yeah, come back down here.
Yeah. And I appreciate you mentioning like how much I've grown since we've been working together, but you have also grown so much. You started in a little one room studio, and I think honestly 6 months after our first meeting, maybe you now have a full-on shop on Broadway in Long Beach. It's a beautiful space. Like the moment you walk in there, like one, it's aesthetic, but two, I feel like I'm like, oh, like I'm home. I'm at the portal. Like I'm about to do our visualizations, which I will say when she does Reiki, you have really helped me learn how to visualize like myself. And honestly, I do this every time I'm in Shavasana. I do like the pink light thing, the roots, and I try to see myself from like a bird's eye view. But that is incredible because yes, she's an energy worker and helping us have snatched faces, but you are like a business woman. Like honestly, you never stop hustling. Like where does that come from?
I have no idea. I think it comes from I have 2 daughters, and they are just like my drive for everything in this life. So I think that's where it comes from, is like showing them I could recreate myself in my 30s. You can recreate yourself anytime you want. So the shop is amazing, and I think that I'm going to continue expanding and growing. And, you know, the more we put our highest frequency out there, it seems like that magnetism really comes in. And so I'm very honored for the community that I've built. I can't wait to spread it as well. So after sessions, how do you normally feel? And as you've gone through them more and more, what has that experience been like?
Okay, so physically, I typically feel like a lot of sinus pressure is released and my face just feels lighter. But energetically, I will say the first couple sessions, since I feel like you were moving around the energy in my face and the emotions, I would go home and have to like literally just veg out and rest and cry. Sometimes like I'd be like exhausted, but I think it's because I truly did not feel like I haven't felt like peaceful or like rested, if that makes sense. Yes. And I think one time, I don't know how you knew, well, I'm sure it's because you read my energy. You were like, you need to get these emotions out. And it hit me, it hit home really hard because I feel like I have like censored myself, not just in my last relationship, but like with my family, with my friends, kind of just like growing up, you know. And you were like, you need to say what you need to say, and you were like, you should just like scream. And I got in the car and I started crying instantly, and I just like started screaming, and like my body got all hot. But I will say, I think that was like the best night's sleep I've ever had. Do you hear like clients say that a lot?
Sometimes people just sob, and then I'm like, okay, you know, take your time coming back and meet me outside the room when you're done. And they'll just come out and be like, that was the best thing I've ever experienced. And we all sit in our emotions and suppress them to fit into whatever's going on in life and society. And so being able to just be unapologetically raw and just this brutal honesty, I think, is just the most euphoric feeling. So to have you experience that, please continue doing it. Scream.
Yeah. And that was probably like the first 6 months, I would say. And especially like before I left, that's what's like kind of sad, is like we don't live close to each other anymore, so I can't come as often. But I was just like, okay, I'm just really excited to see her. Like her energy is so fun. And now I feel like I use the time to really try to use I'm learning that energy is very powerful and you can truly manifest whatever you want to manifest. So I feel like towards the end, most of it was like me trying to do that. Like I remember I would like picture myself, like I knew I was going to cut my hair and I was super nervous about that. And I knew I was going to Mexico City and I just kept trying to like visualize like, okay, like I think you say something in Reiki where it's like you see your future self welcoming you. I try to do that all the time now. I mean, of course, there are still times where I'm like, I need that emotional release. And it's kind of funny. Paige has been here now for like, 5 days? And we've been going to yoga and stuff together. And you truly are an energy worker because I've cried at yoga before. I haven't cried too much since I've gotten here. But I had like a full on journey.
I've been crying too. Yeah. We're like in each other's energy so deeply right now that it's all emotion.
Yeah, we haven't even had to do like the facial, but I was just like, okay, like I had these feelings come up. I like had to deal with them. And then by the end, I was crying the whole class. By the end of the class, it was good. So you are a very special presence.
I think also like being able to watch you untap your own magic has been so interesting because I see so much of me in you and like through my journey. And so watching you is just, it's amazing. Like you inspire me and you reignite that fire that I had, a couple years ago.
Yeah. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I do feel like something's coming, which is exciting. So what's next for Sacred Skin Alchemy? Anything exciting? You guys definitely need to visit her in Long Beach.
So the shop is expanding and growing, and I am booked a couple months in advance. We have a working pantry that's just kind of functioning in front of the shop, feeding a lot of the unhoused neighbors in the area, which I think is extremely important. Yeah. And so I want to continue that, and I want to grow it and possibly move this into some sort of coalition within Long Beach where we are feeding our unhoused neighbors. And then I see myself looking for residency in Mexico City and seeing what that turns into because this place is magic and I want to be closer to you and I feel like there's some sort of collaboration in our future and I don't quite know what it is yet, but I think me and you have both planted those seeds and so like to watch them grow I think will be very interesting.
Yes. As long as I get first dibs on bookings when you're here. But I 100% agree. And I feel like I'm just so excited to see what else you do. And please come visit me anytime. I'm going to tag Paige's Instagram in the show notes. It is worth, if you are anywhere in California, it is worth the trip if you need to stay a night. If all my friends from San Diego, again, this is like a facial unlike any other. And thank you so much for being on my podcast.
I love you with all my heart.
I love you too.